Today we're going to be going through RAGBRAI 2025 gear, vibes, and essentials to help you pack for your RAGBRAI trip. Okay, let's go through our setups. Elliot, what was your setup?
My setup was a titanium Gemini, and I think the two questions we're covering are under what our setup is, what would you do differently, and then what worked great. So what I would do differently is I think I would like to try an inline setup instead of having two panniers. On day 2 or 3, it was super windy, so I felt like I was getting a lot of drag and like there were roadies behind me, and so I felt like that was kind of tough. So I think I'd like to try some alternate setups where I could keep all of my bags in line with my bike. I think could be really cool. And then, I mean, that made me also think about potentially a different tire spec, because this year there was a lot of road riding. Like having the knobbier tires was great for the gravel sections we did, but because there was so much road, I think a slicker tire with a little bit less rolling resistance would have actually made the days in the saddle a little bit more comfortable for me. What worked great for my setup was I switched out the stock bars for the Salsa cow chippers, which are a little bit wider, and you're on your bike all day, and I found the multiple hand positions was just really nice for the different types of riding. So that was my big, like, I think, flipped out part that really made the ride great for me.
So I also was riding Gemini this year, aluminum, not as classy as these guys. For those of us who aren't as fast as Elliot, I this year went with a 4-bag setup, and the goal was to get more weight off of the back of the bike, because I found that when I was walking through crowds, you get a lot of swing on the bike, or when you're picking the bike up, it can get heavy in the back. So I went with a 4-bag setup. And again, what was great about it is I did get some of the weight off of the back of the bike. But what I found is that with the 4 bags, I was just kind of moving stuff around all the time. You have 4 bags to deal with at the end of the day. It ended up getting to the point where I just was using the front bags as a bit of a dumping ground. So I did like the better balance. I think next year, or I think next time that we do this would be great is to try and go with 1 big seat bag, frame bag, and then 2 smaller panniers up front on that front rack, and that would feel really balanced. I think every year, year 3 of this, you realize like every year that you just have extra stuff. So, really getting down just to the essentials to bring would be key for next time. Don't overpack. It's just a hassle. It's just every day you're unpacking and repacking stuff. And for someone like me who melts down every morning, it's just more work than I want.
For me, I was also on a Gemini titanium. This year, I repeated my my setup. I had a rear rack, my bags in the back, my tent on top of the rack, strapped down. I had a frame bag and a top 2 bag. What would I do differently? I like my setup. I think I want to just carry like less stuff. All my gear, I had just enough gear, but I found just because there's so much extra room in my bag, I would just grab things. I would just grab things and carry, man. Like extra water, free water, I'll take it, thank you. I'll just carry it. So at the end of the day, I just had stuff, and carrying that for no reason on like day 7, you really feel the burn, So carry less. I think for me, like what worked great was just having the big pannier bag on the back. I just had space. I had freedom to do anything I want. So I was free to stop, grab things, like buy gifts, just do all of the wrong things. And I actually enjoyed that. I was originally going to get a click stand, but I realized I enjoy just dropping my bike in a town and leaving it. I just arrive, drop it, and bounce. And I really enjoy it.
Don't hate on my click stand.
I'm like, I don't need that.
So my setup, I was also on a Gemini titanium size extra large with a 4 pannier setup, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, on like a low rider tubus rack in the front. In terms of what I would do differently, everyone kind of said it, I would carry less stuff. I liked my pannier placement, but there was, I think, one of them full of just things I never used. So definitely need to cut down on that type of stuff. In terms of what worked great, as I kind of said, the 4 pannier setup I really liked, and I really liked the carbon adventure fork. being able to mount stuff up front was awesome, a little different than last year. So definitely happy to have that fork and utilize it. I think this year was windy. It was like 4 days of headwind. So I had your setup last year. I still noticed my bags this year in the wind, probably a little different than how yours felt. And we're all saying, yeah, carry less. I think what we rode in Seattle was closer to where I'd want to be, and kind of what you're saying, an inline setup for the wind, while keeping the balanced weight in mind.
I think the bottom line is you just try and bring as little as possible. You brought the least amount of stuff, and you were totally happy with it.
Yeah, what was interesting though, so it was my first year doing RAGBRAI, so I got to kind of like learn from the team's experience going the past 2 years, past 1 and 2 years respectively for everybody. But I took like a bigger tent because it's what I had. So I had a 2-person tent, and I feel like there's always this balance of like, yeah, using the gear that you have and dialing it in, and like, yeah, you want to go as light as possible, but you're balancing what's going to make you comfortable at the end of the day. And sometimes that means bringing a little bit more. So I think there's always going to be a little bit of like, I need more, I need less, kind of like this. You're trying to find that equilibrium at like, yeah, pendulum balance of where you're going to be. So I think it's always going to be like, yeah, 1 year you want more, 1 year you want less. So like, it's cool to hear everybody's experience. I think all of us were happy with like what we had at the end of the day, but you always think back and you're like, oh, it could have been a little bit better. It could have been a little bit easier. Like, and so that's cool. It's cool to talk about those moments.
Yeah, I think you don't want to be in a position where over 7 days, like you want to be as lean as possible, but I don't think you ever want to be in a position where you're like suffering to get your bags closed, or like if you need to make a change, like let's just say like we got hit with rain one day, and let's just say all your stuff got soaked and you needed to go like buy a shirt and pair of shorts or something just to get by, and you're looking around, you're like, dude, I have nowhere to put my stuff. So yeah, like I think going 4 bags, great, probably more space than you need, but I don't think you ever want to be stranded and feeling like, oh man, I'm like stuck, and I'm like strapping stuff onto the stuff that's strapped onto my bags. Like that'd be terrible.
I thought Chase's setup was closer to where I'd probably want to be. Probably ran into your issue of not having any extra space, but super inline setup, super minimal, didn't carry any extra stuff.
I really like the front roll bag, but I feel like I get stuck on where do I have my phone and wallet in a way that's easy to get to, because I don't want to do a full frame bag. And then also like having a camera to carry, taking up a feed bag is like, the camera like makes it so that it's hard because you need the camera, you need the stuff for the camera, and you need like an extra battery pack. And that ends up being kind of a difference maker of space if somebody is out there and they want to be shooting. But I think it would be interesting to just go with like the front roll, full frame bag, and then a seat bag. Like you'd have the bulk of your stuff kind of in line, and then you either, put stuff on the front racks or put stuff on rear panniers.
Yeah, so continuing on gear in general, what was an essential piece of gear that you would recommend? I know we kind of talked about this last year, and we saw some friendly faces listening to those tips and tricks and having those products. What was your top piece of gear?
Yeah, my essential piece was definitely the camping chair. Like, I know it's a large item, but at the end of the day, being able to set up your tent and then having a place to sit down is, I think, a must for me. I had an REI Aerolite chair or something. It's not even the most lightweight one, but enough to fit into one of my rear pannier bags. It was great. I think that's my must keep. What was I missing? For me, it was bibs that had cargo pockets. There's just so much stuff that you want to pick up and grab, and like being able to, like go into the porta potty and have a place to put your phone that isn't on a ledge or like tucked in a weird place, like that. I was definitely missing that. So it's just like a piece of functionality for gear that it's just like you don't think about it beforehand, because I picked probably my most comfortable bibs, but then seeing other people with the pockets, I was just like, oh damn, I wish I had that.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about chairs. Like, so I have this Grand Trunk stool, and the thing about it is that when you're exhausted, you do not get a back to sit against, and if like your stomach is all messed up from the day of just eating gross food and like having a million Gatorades, it's not hugely comfortable, but what's nice about it is it packs super small, and you can put it horizontally in a pannier, which is great. It has the bag has a strap on it, you can carry it around. It's easy to like pass around in a group. And then there's a pouch on the bottom where you could hang stuff off of. So like, you know, if you want to hang your socks off of that and put your bibs over the top of it, and it sits underneath the vestibule on the side of your tent, it just ends up working really well for that. I do think I'd love a chair that was small and light, but the size factor of this thing is just tremendous. So, you know, this worked for me, again, like really well this year. I'd still kind of stand behind it. Definitely feel like not having cargo bibs, like seeing everybody walk around, like get off the bike super fast and you're like sweaty, and I'm like tucking my phone under my bibs. It's like against my sweaty, dirty skin, wallet, you know, everything, like garbage tucked under there just to get around is definitely a hassle. But I also think like for me, because I also sweat a lot, so even when I have cargo pockets, like my bibs are still soaked. So if I'm putting my phone in and it's hot, it's a little bit stressful. I think having a super small, like fold up bag, so then I could, because I was using the convertible waist pack on the front, and that I could pop that off. But then with everything strapped on, it's kind of a hassle to like pop that on and off quickly. And again, I take forever, so it's like I'm holding everything up even more. But I think being able to just have a super small crunched up bag like the one that you have, for like hop off the bike, unzip it, throw your stuff in it and carry it around. And then also, you know, sometimes you go and grab like 2 or 3 drinks for somebody, you know, because like I give. And so, but it's like you have multiple things. It's like nice to be able to throw that in and carry it back. So I do think having a super small, light, durable bag that, you know, probably for something that form function would probably cost a few bucks. You don't want just like some crappy thing. I think that'd be a super good investment to have. And then even at the end of the night, like, you know, you're wearing like a pair of flimsy shorts, you're carrying your phone and like wallet around. It'd be nice to just have that bag on hand.
For me, I will also say the Gore cargo bibs changed my life. They're just so nice. They're just so proper. I found that I would just have my little like film camera on one of the pockets. Just take a photo, put it back, and that was really great. But my true MVPs are this year. I went from 40 millimeter tires up to 45s that were completely smooth. I ran those bad boys on like 70 PSI. It was great. It was great. You just rolled. You know that, and also a chair. It has a back. You know, like there was I think it was like day 3 where Elliot and I got to camp super early, and it was really, really hot, and we just chilled under a tree for like 4 hours, just dropped into the chairs that were just like this. It was fantastic, man. Like a chair is a must, and one that's easy to pack, also a must. For me, I had a gear sort of like bag that had my chair, my tent, and sleeping pad, sleeping bag. So I got to camp, I opened that up, opened the chair, and just drop.
I think the key for my chair is just don't ever get into camp early and take forever and go slow. And then you don't really have to worry about having a back on your chair.
I made a little mistake this year. I brought one small bottle and one like large bottle instead of 2 of the larger ones. Just easier. I found that I ran out of water and I always had to resupply. And if I had 2 of the same size, I feel like it would have been a lot easier. So just a larger bottle. A computer that could hold a charge for the entire day is the biggest thing. My computer just drained really fast, so I couldn't actually use it to navigate onto camp. So a computer like the Karras is for sure a piece of gear that I needed.
Yeah, I never charged my Karras the whole time. I think the lowest it got was like 94%.
Oh my God.
And what's kind of cool is when you finish your day, it gives you your mileage, your average speed, your climbing, but it also gives you a battery report. So it'll be like an 8-hour day and I'll gain 4 or 5%.
Come on.
The solar's that strong?
Yeah, I mean, you're riding in the middle of a cornfield on a road for hours. It'll get some. So yeah, I never had to charge my Karras. I had to charge my watch once, but it was great. But then in terms of essential piece of gear, I would recommend, other than the Karras Dura, and I was also going to say the Gore bibs, is the Bevo insulated bottles. I got these larger ones. I was running 2, and I would find myself at like the last stop before the end town, still with ice from the morning, which is just an amazing little treat. So yeah, I would go Bevo bottles. And then in terms of what I was missing, I had a tiny little fan. And since I had all this space in my 4 pannier setup, I'd probably get like a Ryobi huge fan or something. Cause I would like put it on my chest and it was just like someone blowing on you. It wasn't enough. So bigger fan. But other than that, nothing too major.
The one thing that came up when we were out there that people were asking us, so there were a bunch of people riding ADXs out there, which is awesome to see. And somebody told us that we should have told them to run smaller, higher, or not smaller, but higher pressure tires, maybe a little bit less knobby tires. So that is one note, like, all of us were on Geminis, which I think is just a great bike for that touring format. But I do think if you are riding your ADX, which is totally a great bike to ride out there as well, just think about putting on a more road-oriented tire, something you can pressure up a little bit for more efficiency. And I know that there were some people who were doing, like, this was just one part of their tour, and they were running tubeless, and they were going to go do like the Katy Trail or something after. So yeah, obviously those situations are tough, but I think if you can put on a faster tire on an ADX or a Bruiser, if you're riding that, is probably something that we would recommend.
Okay, so for the third category, it's all about vibes. What was the best part of the experience, and what is something that you wish you had done differently? I can kick it off. So in terms of the best part of the experience for me was, if anyone did the Karras loop, once you got past the patch pickup point and you finally took a right, there was a tailwind after 4.5 days of no tailwind. And with all the bags, I feel like I was not pedaling, hands off the saddle, going like 17, which was a huge treat after a bunch of days biking into the wind. So that was, and I was alone listening to music, felt like I'd already done the 100, even though I was at like 86 miles. That was the best part for me. And then something that I wish I had done differently, I think it was like day 4 or 5 when there was a huge storm. When I was sitting at my tent, there was a little ditch, and I was like, I knew it was gonna rain. I was super tired, not really thinking about it, and I kind of set up in that ditch and went to bed, was woken up by the thunderstorm, was so tired I went back to bed and would keep waking up, and slowly there'd be more water in this little ditch. To the point where it was like a water bed under the bottom of shit. And I'm so tired, I'm like, what am I gonna do? It's gonna rain for more hours, I can't really adjust it. So I just got all my electronics and put them up at the high side of the ditch near my head. And yeah, don't set up your tent in a ditch when it's gonna rain.
I feel like you're really underselling also how crazy this storm was. Like, it was maybe gusts 35, 40 mile per hour winds, really hard rain, like everybody, it was like batten down the hatches type situation. Like even Doozer was saying like, this is one of the craziest storms he's camped through. I think we were all like a little unprepared. Luckily there were nobody's tent fully busted open or broke, but people were definitely taking water on in their tent. And I think we were not prepared for that level of intensity. So I don't think it's anybody's fault, but it was insane. It was really crazy.
Proper staking. Shout out to the hiking Viking, Jabba, because I remember the first time I was setting up my tent, he was there and he's like, always properly stake your tent. And sometimes I felt like, why am I doing this? And that night I realized why you properly stake your tent.
Absolutely.
Like that tension is huge.
At an angle.
Because I think my tent was like folding in. At one point I was like, is this gonna like actually like crush in on me? And it held and I stayed dry.
I'm probably the only one who I just vibed. I was just sitting there like, this is terrifying, but man, I'm just vibing. It's gonna be done soon. But for me, the vibe was really with on the vendors. on the side of the road. They were always awesome. Every town, they were always great. I found myself stopping at the majority of them. So we'll repeat. That was fun, always. There's one guy who was like dressed in I'm blanking on words. He was like a bear or something. And I was just like, wait, what? Just always happy. The prices are always great. There are people like handing out icicles, which like saved me. It was just free. And it was a handout. I was just like, thank you. And it I just remember that. I'm like, you just saved me. I was gone. I found myself again. So on the vendors, shout out to them. Great vibes. I wished I brought a digital camera instead of a film camera, so I didn't have to be as selective as I was. There was a lot of just beautiful place to be, and I think I only took about 3 rolls, 4 rolls at 7, but it was a lot more effort. So that's my big thing.
Yeah, I think RAGBRAI is like all vibes, and I think like immersing yourself in the vibes is the key. I mean, it was really nice this year. We had these flags from Summit Something, and everyone on the team, on Team Doozer had one, so you'd see them around all the time. You'd set them up at camp. Some people had them on their bikes. Like at camp, we had this up, which was like a cool beacon that I feel like, one of the things that I feel like has been really great with doing Team Doozer the last 3 years is like you give everybody a rallying point, which like, it's a long day and it's like stressful. And so knowing that you're like all going back to the same place is always like just a kind of a great part of it. So I think generally just like knowing that this was going to be our last year of kind of this 3-year run and we're going to be taking some downtime. For me, it was just like making sure that you got a chance to like talk to people, tell people like that you appreciated them was like something for me that I felt was really fun because RAGBRAI is such a unique experience. And it's one of the few things where you can kind of get that experience because you're with people for 7 or 8 days. So I think like really, immersing myself into the team and the people was the number one thing. I'd say the thing that I anti-vibed myself on, which was like, I find that after doing it for 3 years, I become more and more focused on the mileage and the ride. And I felt like I would get up every day and pre-think about like how far I wanted to go. I think over the past couple of years, it had times where I kind of blew up and like was counting every like 10th of a mile. And so it's like, I just didn't want that to happen again. And so I think that like, one thing that I felt like I wasn't looking out for the fun stuff as much, and I just feel like that's a miss to like not take advantage of like all the fun stuff you can, whether it's just like, you get to the point where like, well, I don't want to jump in the pool because I gotta like put my like socks and my shoes back on and my bibs are gonna be wet, and I think like that'd be the one thing I look back on, I'm like, I wish I had done a couple more of those dumb things. I think the other cool thing was when we went up to that random house and we talked to Bruce about farming, and like he opened his house to us. That was cool. Got to like learn something, kick our feet up, say what's up to people, spend some time together. It's like that type of thing that you're just not going to get anywhere else. I wish that we had just done more of that.
I think for me, like my favorite part of the experience and the vibe is like just being on the bike all day. Like I love that when my schedule is just like all I got to do is like pedal my bike. Like that is my favorite thing about biking and being able to like, it's a luxury, it's a treat. I know that this is like a vacation for a lot of people and this is like what they want to do with their year. This is their one big thing. So like, again, it's such a pleasure to just be like, all I have to do is ride my bike today. And you're surrounded by other people who love riding their bike. Like there's nothing better than that. So that was definitely like my favorite part of it. The thing that I think like maybe would have done differently for like the vibe is like maybe just not even recording Stravas for each of the days. Like, I think I got so wrapped up in being like, I want to go fast because I like going fast and I want to have a cool Strava. And then it's like, I feel like I'm almost competing with myself or competing with others to like prove that I've done this ride. And like, I think it kind of takes the joy away from like what makes RAGBRAI so special and sharing that moment with all the other people who are like there. So I think it like takes you out of being present when you're so wrapped up about like the digital presence of like who you are as a cyclist or who you are in the world. So I think if I'm going to do it again, I think I might just turn my Strava off and be like, again, yeah, being more present and active with the people around me.
VIPs. We didn't have it on our list. Who's your VIP? I'll start because I have a few VIPs. One, Adam, coming in.
Go.
Just great vibes. You know, Adam's out there riding his full suspension bike, his just head bobbing along. He'd be cruising with you. All of a sudden he'd disappear. He'd show up again. Great with everybody in the group. So
You didn't
Adam.
care about knobby tires.
What's that?
Knobby tires didn't slow him
Oh,
down.
you just hear him mudding along, just coming up behind you. Adam was great. Dave and Marge, who are coming out to Colorado, they're just great, like positive vibes, kind of up for anything. And then my homegirl Helen, who every morning was just like set out, do her own thing. She'd be like, I cried 3 times today, but she's like still smiling. She's the best for me. So I have a lot of MVPs. But
That's great. Like for me, you know, I did the OGs, so OG, but like Josh and like Natalie on their folders, just vibing the entire time. It was great. It was really great to see. I really enjoyed that.
On their folding touring bikes.
Folding touring bikes, just boom. It was great to see.
I think I got to shout out Scott. I did multiple day rides with him. He was on an Apollo, just like great vibes. It was nice to like make a friend on this ride. I think I was pretty nervous I'm a very introverted person, and so he is very extroverted. And I think we just like got along in a way I was surprised, and like it was just a joy to ride with him. So he's my MVP.
I'm gonna throw out like Elliot as my MVP for you know, like after that on a headwind day, I was lost. My body was just like I am done. Like this is really hard. And at one point on a tailwind day, you and Scott passed me and was just like join. And at that point, I forgot that I could go fast or like how to go fast. And you reminded me, and I was like, oh yeah, bang, bang, let's go. It was just like, phew. And the rest of the tour, I was just like, oh yeah, man, oh yeah, I like going fast. And this is like fun for me. I forgot about that. So like, I'm a little bit of the opposite there, but like, for the rest of the tour, I'm just like tucked in, just flying, and just like, and there's always like a line behind me, and when people are drafting, people are like, yeah, man, turn left. I was like, oh my God. Oh yeah, it's fun. Cycling is fun. Thank you, Elliot. I forgot, man. I was just in it. Yeah, that was an MVP, shout out.
yeah, that section where you and Scott were up front, where we had like a good 2-hour run.
Yeah.
I feel like was it like a 2-hour run? Maybe a little bit less, but it was like a good 2-hour run. You held the pace for everybody, you know, and like we're riding, and I feel like because we're bagging, we're rarely in a group. And that was like the one time where you look up and there were like 12 people, you know, all lined up. You guys held like that whole group the whole time. You guys were talking. It was awesome. You could hear people talking behind you. And then who gets in there? Jack, dude, pops up in the front. All of a sudden, that little 14-year-old starts pulling us way too fast, but it was great. Like Michael and Jack up there are killer too. But yeah, you guys did a killer job.
I was up there with Jack, and I was like, dude, slow down, dude, slow down. I felt like I was like teaching him the ways of like, when you're at the front, you know, he comes up and he wants to pull and start going faster, and I'm like, no, dude, ease into it. Like, we're not trying. This is a no drop ride, my dude. Like,
Man, that kid's got some legs, man.
oh, he's gonna be so strong.
Legs and boulder lungs.
Yeah,
for
for
sure.
real, for
He's
real.
great.
I know you guys hit a lot of my MVPs. Another person I'd throw out is Francisco. Always good to chat with him. Cool to see his bike setup being different than last year. He was streaming it, which was super cool. Always fun to chat with him. Those are our thoughts on RAGBRAI 2025. Let us know what your favorite piece of gear was, your favorite vibe was, who your MVP was, and what you do differently down below. See ya in Iowa again.